Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take.
Before tonight's murder, there's been no clue as to who this killer might be. But now...
Welcome back to the Happy Horrors podcast, where we review horror movies and horror franchises. I'm Mark,
I'm Tuan.
and today we're reviewing My Soul to Take, released in 2010, screenplay and directed by Wes Craven. Tuan, can you give the people the plot summary?
A notorious serial killer called the Riverton Ripper seemingly dies, but on the night of his death, 7 babies are born. 16 years later, those teens start dying one by one, and a troubled boy named Bug must uncover the truth before he becomes the next victim. But before we get into the movie discussion, we are going to go over some Haddonfield headlines. So at the top of the docket, the A24 horror movie Bring Her Back debuted at the box office with a $7 million opening weekend, which for that movie is pretty good. I believe, according to here, the production budget for Bring Her Back was around 15 million. And at the time of recording this, I'm pretty sure they might have already gotten there. We don't have like the active numbers from the previous weekend, but the opening weekend it debuted at 7 million domestically, and worldwide it's at about 8 million. So I think they can easily reach that, no
Oh,
problem.
definitely.
Yeah,
I
especially
like
with
what
the
this,
Will from Talk to Me.
yeah, I like what this like production team is like really just knocking it out. Like their first big movie went insane, and then this one's also doing really good. That's actually a good sign.
Yeah, so I think they're gonna I think they're definitely gonna make their budget back, and to my knowledge, we already know that they have the brothers who worked on the movies. We already know that they have a prequel plus sequel to Talk to Me in production. And while this isn't a part of the headlines, it has been rumored and by I think even Deadline reported on that they were approached to possibly do a Street Fighter movie.
Oh, that's different.
Yeah, which I feel like it wouldn't be too much. Well, not say too much different, but because I know them from their YouTube stuff, they used to do a lot of like fighting things, which given the
Yeah, I
quality
can't.
of it from coming from YouTube, like, obviously, it wasn't movie quality, but I think they could work with action.
I mean, yeah, but it's like the big project. They have two big horror projects, and then they have two more horror projects planned. It's like a huge. I guess it also helps their career, but they're not like typecast themselves as like, oh, we're only a horror team. So that's also good.
Yeah,
Get more under their portfolio.
yeah, for sure. So glad to hear that for those two, and glad the movie's doing good. Once again, the horror movies are winning in 2025. Um, Even more winning is Final Destination Bloodlines is the franchise's first movie to hit a $200 million box office. Um, at the time of the article, it was around 229.3 million worldwide box office at the moment. And of course, the only horror film that's has a beat is Sinners. But I feel like by the
Which
time,
goes back to the article that says horror is oversaturated. Like apparently people are watching all kinds of horror this summer. This is this is the summer of horror, and I love it.
yeah,
Final Destination deserved those numbers. It was a good comeback and like a fresh start for the series.
yeah, we haven't heard any word on if we'll be having a Final Destination 7 yet, but with these numbers, hopefully it's pretty guaranteed at this point. Um, I feel
I
like
wouldn't be upset if we didn't get one.
I wouldn't
If I'm being
I
honest.
wouldn't be upset, but like it's like y'all brought me back, so now I want more.
Yeah, that's why I wouldn't be upset because like if this was the last one for another long period, this was a good one to end on. But if it kickstart a new leg of the franchise, I'm down. either which way because I was satisfied with Bloodlines.
Yeah, that's how I'm feeling. Honestly, I think by the end of the year, once everything comes out, probably top three as far as box office horror movies might go is probably going to be Sinners, the new Conjuring movie, and probably Final Destination. I think that's how it's going to
Yeah,
end up being by the end because the Conjuring always does good in the box office. Even Devil Made
the
Me Do It. And that
Conjure's gonna
was like,
overtake Sinners.
yeah, I see it because one is supposed to be the last movie, and
Yeah,
just the Conjuring already does really good regardless of the fact. Um, so I think that'll probably end up being like the number one as far as like box office by the end of the year. It'll probably be like, yeah, Conjuring, Sinners, and Final Destination if we did it in order. But who knows? Maybe we'll be surprised by I Know What You Did Last Summer. um,
I don't see it, but maybe.
Moving on, we got some new trailers this week. The first trailer was from Alien Earth, the TV show. So this will be a TV show released onto the FX network, which will also be watchable on Hulu for those that have Hulu, or Disney Plus if you're listening to us internationally. And the first two episodes release August 12th, so it's kind of coming up. And it'll be about, I believe, 8 episodes. And yeah, so
See, they lost me. They lost me with that. I'm so sick of these 8 episode seasons. Like, give me a good 10 piece. Like, those extra 3 episodes are so crucial to the season. I can do one episode of filler that just like help fill in the plot, what's going on, so I don't feel like I'm missing something. 8 episodes ain't shit. Like, how y'all gonna tell this story good in 8 episodes?
depends on the show. I mean, if we could tell
I
a good
guess.
story in the movies, like we could tell a good 8 episode story. And plus, I watch shorter shit. Like I watch miniseries that's shorter.
I do too, but miniseries like I'm pretty sure they're saying, "Oh, this is just a mini series, Alien Earth." I'm pretty sure they want this show to go at least 3, 4 seasons. So it's like I need you to have these people fleshed out, so I would care to come back for a second season. I can do a 5 part miniseries. I need Crystal Lake to be a 5 part miniseries and just cut it after that.
Yeah, and if you all aren't aware, Alien Earth is set before the events of the original Alien movie in 2120. A ship charged with collecting monsters from the darkest corners of the universe crash lands on Earth, and one of the monsters is, of course, the legendary xenomorph. But the Alien Earth trailer makes it clear that it's not the only monster our human and android characters will have to deal with. Um,
You see that? That's another thing. Why we get new aliens? What's happening
well,
right
they
now?
didn't say they were new aliens like are xenomorphs. They could just be different creatures.
I guess. But I also wouldn't have minded like I would have been okay with a Wayland Utani story, if I'm being honest. Like call it Alien Earth and just give me a deep dive on this shady ass company that somehow controls the whole like system. Because everybody seemed to work for Wayland Utani and they all over the place. So like I need to like give me a Succession style type alien prequel about the company. Am I asking for too much?
Like in my mind, like I would watch that, but as a part of the Alien like franchise, I wouldn't like that.
Okay, no, you still keep the aliens. You still keep the aliens. You keep the murderous androids. But like at the focus of it, it's the Utani.
Well, it does say that it does mention the show deals with the emergence of like the Whaley Utani Corporation a bit more. Um, so it does deal a little more. I guess we might have a bit of that in there. So because we don't know exactly how it's all going to go down just yet. So interested to see how they take it, and the creator of the show and I believe the official show writer as well is Noah Hawley, who did the Legion show for FX, which was also very good. So I think we might be in good hands. And also, the trailer itself looked really well. It looked like very movie cinema quality as far as like a lot of stuff went that we saw. So I'm excited for
Hmm.
to see what comes up with it. FX usually is pretty has a pretty good track record for most of their shows. Besides the Ryan Murphy stuff, but that's just Ryan Murphy being Ryan Murphy. That ain't on them.
Hmm.
Everything else though, they tend to be pretty well. Another trailer that we did get through throughout the week was the Black Phone 2 trailer. And I'm on board. I'm
That's
actually
cute.
I'm actually on board with it. I think I think it could be a I think this could be a good sequel to the first one. And once they kind of like mention that the grabber is now kind of like a Freddy Krueger-esque type of like figure in the story at this point, I was even a little more on board since we ain't getting no Nightmare on Elm Street anyway. Um,
Yeah, that's never happening.
Plus, we just need like newer horror figures and icons in general. This will go into something that I'll mention a little later when we bring up a certain franchise, but yeah, we just need more current modern horror figures so that not saying like we need to forget what came before, but we can't keep digging them up.
Yeah,
Moving on though to just some general news. We got Octavia Spencer returning in Ma 2.
I didn't see that coming at all. A sequel, I didn't see it happening.
Honestly, I thought it was going to happen after the movie came out because it did like 60 million. I don't
Oh,
remember the budget. Let me just look that up really quickly. Um, because yeah, it did 60 million. The budget was 5 million, Mark.
oh,
So I thought
oh!
at the time it was gonna
I'm
do.
surprised they didn't do a quick turnaround.
Yeah, I thought at the time it came out because that came out in 2019. By the way, it's 2025. I thought they,
Damn, wait, it's been that long?
yeah, May 31st, 2019. We just missed the anniversary.
Oh wow, I I didn't know it's been that long.
Yeah, because I thought at the time when it came out it was gonna get a sequel, like because just because how much money it got at back then, but it's been really it's gained like a really strong cult following online. Like I don't know if you see that, I see it all the time. Like
I do. I see the mom love. I always see it. That's why I'm trying like 2019. That I thought that movie came. I don't because I've seen the memes and I see all the love and appreciate it for the mom memes. I kept thinking like, oh, that came out in like 2022. I get it, but damn, 2019. That's insane.
yep,
And I love me some Octavia.
yep. So it will yeah, it will be back. Think this is gearing up for a 2026 release because you know Blumhouse loves to fast track some shit. So, um,
They love to get some shit out there.
yeah, so they will be getting this one out sometime next year. We don't have any word on like the production or anything just yet. Like we do know that writer Ashley Nicole Black. She's written a bunch. She's written a lot of like a lot on like TV and stuff. Like she was. I don't know if you've seen. Was it the Black Lady sketch show? You remember that from HBO?
Hmm.
Yeah, she
Hmm.
started in that and also like wrote a bunch of that. Some episodes of Ted Lasso, I believe she wrote as well. So coming from more of a comedy background, which I mean Ma could definitely be a horror comedy given what we got. Uh, so I wonder are they going to kind of lean into more
I
of the
was so
comedy?
surprised by that movie. I didn't know what that movie was going to be, but it was interesting.
Yeah, I wonder are they going to just try to? I guess with her attached as one of the writers, are they going to try to lean into more of the comedy of it? because but the thing with Ma though, which some projects do this when something catches on, which is what you feel about like Megan, for example, is they take the um what was unintentional and make it intentional. Like Ma was
Mm.
unintentionally funny. Like I don't know if they intended for some of the parts in there to be funny to us and like me how we like meme it. Same way with like Megan wasn't like it wasn't intention to be like mean and stuff, but then they leaned into it, which would like worked in their favor as far as the marketing and stuff went of the movie, and they leaned into it. But with the second one, we see as you mentioned, it's given more like T2, which I'm on board with for this one. Because there's only so much I can take with I mean, the dolls aren't scary. Like Chucky, like stopped being scary once not like I wasn't a child anymore. So some things just really aren't scary. So leaning into the other elements of it is fine. So I wonder, are they gonna like try to lean into more of like the comedic elements of what um was unintentional about the initial Ma movie? But yeah, Octavia Spencer
True.
is returning though. Like she actually wanted to
That
do
was
it.
a shock.
She actually wanted to
Really?
do it. She talked about like she mentioned it prior that she would like to she wanted to do a sequel to it if it was an option.
Nice.
So we always love when an actor wants to return to one of their roles. In other news, Ready or Not, Here I Come has wrapped filming, and it is set for an April 2026 release. This is a sequel to
Okay, I'm
the
excited about that.
Yeah, this is a sequel to the original Ready or Not movie, and it was directed once again by Radio Silence. And our star of the movie, Samara Weaving, is back with Catherine Newton, Sarah Michelle Gellar, and Elijah Wood. And also David Cronenberg is making an appearance in the movie. So interested to see what his
Oh,
role is going to be. Um, yeah, so I'm excited for this one. Ready or Not was one of my favorites when it came
that
out.
should be interesting.
Yeah, Ready or Not was definitely one of my favorites when it came out. A good introduction to Radio Silence for me. This also came out.
I
That movie
still
also
haven't
came out
seen it.
in 2019. You're right. You didn't see that or
Like,
Abigail, right?
I saw Abigail.
Okay, so it's just this one.
Ready or Not is the only one I haven't seen of theirs, and I was thinking I was just gonna wait until the new one came out so I could just watch them back to back.
Well, now you could carve out some time of April of next year for our schedule. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, we got that coming next year. I'm excited for that. Samara Weaving, love her. Catherine Newton, she's kind
I
of
I
become a
loved
good.
her in Scream.
Yeah, I wish she could have been an actualized character, but she did give us a good opening. And her scream at the beginning when she when she got stabbed up like her screams are really good. um,
Yeah, I enjoy that. That's like my first time seeing her in anything, I believe.
yeah, and I guess a fun fact, you know who I believe is her uncle, or I think he's her uncle. Um, fucking Hugo Weaving from The Matrix.
I always wondered because the fucking name is so close, but that makes sense. Okay, Hugo Weaving from The Matrix, from Captain America. Oh my God,
Yep.
that makes sense.
Yeah, I believe that's her uncle, if I'm not mistaken. Or I know they're related in some way, but I think it's uncle. Um, yeah, and so yeah, we got that coming next year, and also Catherine Newton's in that, which she's kind of become like a little, like, not like horror icon, but a really good horror actress. Like she's been in a lot of horror stuff. Like she was also in Abigail. She was in the movie Freaky, the Lisa Frankenstein movie, Paranormal Activity 4. So she's got a bunch of horror under her. She seems to like being in the genre.
Okay.
And next up, back to Blumhouse, which we spoke about a little earlier with Ma. Blumhouse is producing a adaptation of the video game Phasmophobia. Are you aware of this one, by the way? This game.
I am loosely.
Yeah. Um, Essentially, for those who aren't, the game Phasmophobia features you and a group of friends, and you all are essentially ghost hunters in a sense. And you have to go in different locations in the game, use different tools and things like that to, exorcise the ghosts or spirits from the locations that they're in. So that's kind of like the gist of it. I feel like with it being a movie, you can go anywhere with that. To be quite honest, there are
Hmm.
certain like spirits, like the specific spirits in the game that they could probably call on to, if they wanted to, go that type of route. When I first heard this being announced, though, the first movie that came to mind that I feel like this should be like is that movie Grave Encounters.
Hmm.
I think
Oh,
I could
okay.
see that working for this movie. Like that same type of thing. Like, instead of, well, I think in that movie they were actually filming like a ghost hunter show, but in this one, group of friends, they're trying to ghost hunt. They actually end up in some fucked up shit. Um, but because it's Blumhouse, it's probably gonna end up being like PG-13 and not that scary. Um, because Grave Encounters, that movie was actually pretty scary when I first watched it. We should do those. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yes, that's definitely on the list.
Yeah, because I haven't seen them in a while either, but I remember actually really liking them. Um, yeah, so that has been announced. We don't have any word on like a director or anything like that just yet, but it is in development, and this will be their second video game adaptation from Blumhouse after the Five Nights at Freddy's movies, which we have the second one releasing later in this year. Um, Next, in Blumhouse news, me and Mark talked about this outside of the show. Blumhouse is reportedly looking to acquire the rights to the Saw franchise from Twisted Pictures. Mark, I'll let you speak first on that.
I I'm over it, if I'm being honest. Like, just let it rest. We had a good 10th movie, but now we
Surprisingly,
can just surprisingly, and we can just leave it at that. I'm okay with it just ending there
I'm
because this is too
also
much.
okay I'm also okay with ending it there. But one thing that has been mentioned, since we know that Blumhouse is in partnership with James Wan's production group Atomic Monster. Um, like most people know that if Wan said on multiple occasions, if he was ever attached to Saw again, that he would be highly in favor of rebooting it, so and starting over. And I don't know,
I think it. I think it just needs to rest.
like rest as in forever, or rest and then give it a reboot.
N- Not neither. I think we just. I don't. I don't even know what to do anymore.
Yeah, I was interested in seeing whatever this 11th movie was going to be. There's definitely one of those things that they announced like earlier than it should have been. Um, because that movie was set to release like in September of this year, if it was like
Yeah,
ongoing.
that the date changing was pissing me off. Like, I needed them to just be like, "This is when we're gonna have it."
Yeah, there's been a bunch of like
And
turmoil behind the scenes, kind of same with the like Friday the 13th franchises we were recently talking about. So there's a bunch of stuff going on there because yeah, we if everything went right from the beginning, we would have gotten Saw 11 last year in September if
Mhm.
everything went as it was supposed to. But yeah, they don't know what's going on with it. A lot of these people cannot. A lot of these creative heads are just not are like just butting heads like these days on these older franchises and stuff. Um, which you would
They're
think,
just
especially after the comeback that they just had, they would be on a high. like and trying to actually work together, but the money's getting in the way of everything.
Yep.
But if anything, I'm kind of glad because please let that man Tobin Bell rest. I know he likes doing the character, but that my man is 82 years old. He let him be. Uh,
Yeah, man, he went out on a high note. That
yeah,
was a good way to go out on.
it was a good way, especially with it was really well received. Like, yeah,
Hmm.
Saw X still has an 81% on Rotten Tomatoes as of right now. Um,
Oh damn.
from the critics, and the audience score is at 88. So it's in pretty in regards to the franchise. So if that is the last one, I am definitely okay with that. Um, I don't see not saying I don't see where the story could go because there's so many ways that you could take Saw. To be quite honest, and we've seen it, but I'm fine with us staying where we are with it. In other rights news, Texas Chainsaw Massacre once again. Currently,
I'm so sick
yeah,
of
currently
that.
Verve Entertainment, who own the rights to the franchise, are taking pitches from Tyler Sheridan, Jordan Peele, and Oz Perkins in order to find a new partner in order to make, new movies with the IP. Tyler Sheridan is like the main guy behind the Yellowstone franchise. Oz or Osgood Perkins, we know him from just releasing The Monkey this year, and also um, movie that came out last year. I'm forgetting the name of right now. What was that movie with Nicolas Cage? Um, why am I forgetting the name of it? Now I have to look it up because
This Cage.
it just came out last. Long Legs. There we go.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, I forgot the name of it like just that quick. Yeah. So he's also looking, and Jordan Peele and his production group, Monkey Paw, are looking to acquire it as well, and also some other streamers, including Netflix again. Um, so yeah, what are we doing here?
I think that you need to let this one die too. I don't get it. Like I kind of get it, but I don't get it. It's never been a franchise that had like it had its fans, yes. But it's never been one of those franchises that had like some big like diehard following because you never had a consistent story to tell. So I don't get it. Every reboot, every sequel, every week requel sequel, they all fail, and I don't get why we keep trying to make that happen.
Yeah, this kind of goes into what I was saying earlier when we were just talking about the horror icons and stuff like that. We just need newer icons to attach to. Like, yes, would I be opposed if there was a good Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie coming out soon? I wouldn't be opposed, but we can also we have a lot of new creatives that are probably given really good stories or characters behind the scenes that we don't hear about, that don't get put out, that could become the new Leatherface, Jason, Freddy Krueger, not replacing them, but just adding more to the pantheon of horror icons and stuff like that. Um, we for instance, we fucking Art the Clown. Like Art the Clown is in my Call of Duty game. That's crazy.
The guy from the Black Phone might be joining him.
Yeah, so we if and while sure, try to put your money into the old franchises, do what you got to do, but we need to also get some new characters and people in here, cuz if the story is good and the fans attach themselves to it, then we will have new franchises to make and build up new
If
fans.
you write it well, the fans will watch.
And that is true. Last on the docket, for those who haven't watched Sinners yet, first of all, why? Second of all, Sinners will be available on digital, I believe, right
I
now.
think it's on digital now.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think it's out now.
yeah. Digital. It's on digital now on DVD. If you want to get it, it will be available on July 8th. Um, me and Mark both highly recommend Sinners. Um,
100%.
like it's just a great movie. Like it's a good watch. Yeah,
It's a good movie. I can't even describe it without possibly spoiling it. So just watch it. You won't be disappointed.
yeah, our Sinners episode is gonna be probably a long one when we get there.
We have some way to go, but
Yeah,
it is planned.
yeah, we might have to cut out headlines for that one, unless yeah.
100%. Unless something big and crazy happens.
Yeah, because we gonna be talking for a while. But yeah, y'all, yeah, everybody, if you haven't seen Sinners, we definitely recommend that one. Really think everybody should give it a watch. It's definitely one of the best movies of the year. Um, and yeah, still at the moment, it still is in theaters while it is on digital, but has 350 million worldwide at the box office, which for an
Yeah,
original horror movie, crazy work in a good way.
man.
And
Listen to Variety. They won't have nothing.
people have not let off a Variety's neck since, and I'm here for it. I still like if you click one of their like tweets, that's all the comments. That should be taking me out though. But yeah, with that, we wrapped up our headlines, and I'll kick it back to Mark so we can get into my soul to take.
Well, popping over to My Soul to Take. It was one of Wes Craven's last movies. About a group of teens who were all connected, which I kind of enjoyed that aspect. Like the night that the serial killer died, 7 kids were born. It was given Umbrella Academy, but whatever. Um, it's a good concept, but the movie itself wasn't executed. And oh my God, I know we're not talking about scenes or anything yet, but that voice, come on, that voice, their Ripper's voice was pissing me off.
Don't do something stupid, Abel. Here's the deal. Just look the other way when I kill and your family stays alive.
Yeah, that was. Hmm. Why? Like it, I was watching it and it sounds like it sounds like a parody. That's what it is. It sounds like a parody. Like like when in like a scary movie when they try to like make fun of like the Ghostface voice. It sounds like he's
Yeah,
doing a parody of his own movie. And I don't know why.
it was just off, and I just kept thinking like I don't know what this is, and I don't want to keep having to hear it. And it took me out. I'm like, y'all thought this was menacing?
I wasn't menaced at all.
I was annoyed because it kind of like hearing his voice took away from the kills. I'm just like, ugh, y'all are really ruining this right now. And I don't know, the characters just felt so like rote. Like it just this movie just seemed off.
I didn't like this
There were
movie.
a lot of missing. Okay, I was trying not to say that, but yes, go ahead, take it away.
No, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't like this movie. I remember. Now I know I didn't see this movie in theaters when it came out, but I know this is one of those movies I eventually either like rented, like from a Netflix back then, or like Redbox or something. Um, And even then I was like, what is this? Like, I don't like, even like younger me understood that it's like nothing happened here. Like, nothing really happened in this movie. And one
And the
thing
kills were so uninspired.
they were, and one thing that I hate the most is like it, like with anything, it's feeling like I got my time wasted, and I feel like this movie wasted my time. Like there was nothing like that went on. I didn't like the only interesting part, if at all, was like the beginning, like the kind of cold open type of thing. But outside of that, once the like dad or the killer like escaped the ambulance, everything from that point on, I was like, okay, what are we doing here? Is this like a teen drama now, or what's going on here? Like, you know, these the
You're so right. It literally everything after that opening was boring. Everything that opening with the parents and him like not knowing if he was the killer or not, and like all of that worked for me. Everything after that opening, they could have kept it.
yeah, it was just not hitting for me because it was giving like teen drama, like, and I hate that I keep saying like because this is it. It's just so. It's just not enough here. It's not enough to suffice what I'm being presented with in this story. And you know, Wes Craven, legend, we love him. Gave us two horror icons, but this unfortunately was just not the way to go. And
And, and honestly, it's also the acting because even some people can act out and get out of a bad script, and this the acting wasn't like the script was bad, but the acting couldn't save it because the actors needed to be saved.
and I guess because it's one of those like things where it seems like they were trying to give not well, I guess at you know, like lesser known actors at the time, because like nowadays, you know, a lot of people that were in this one, you know, they're a little bit more well known. Like Frank Grillo, you have Denai
Hmm.
Guerrera from Black Panther, Walking Dead. The main character, Matt, I forget how you say his last name, Max Thoreau, I think. I know he does more TV stuff these days, but he's still a little more known. The guy who played his friend has been in some things as well. So like they're a little more, known now than they were then. But I don't know if it was like, the direction of like how they wanted them to portray these characters or whatnot, but it just was nothing sticked. The only thing that stuck for me was the general idea of like the whole thing with the Ripper and the kids born on the day, like that idea, like in a general sense. I was like, okay, um, I could get down with that, but everything and how it came across, like watching it in the movie, it just wasn't really enjoyable. And as I mentioned, it kind of came across more like a teen drama, especially for like the first like 45 minutes. Like, of course, we got like a kill like at the beginning of one of the students or one of the friends, a part of the group, who died like right at the beginning. But after that point, it was like, oh, it's your birth. Like it was really giving teen drama, like not on some Disney Channel shit, but on like some early 2000s like teen movie. Like, oh, it's the main character's birthday. Oh, but he's kind of nerdy. He's gonna get bullied at
Hmm.
school. Like his best friend is also a nerd, like also kind of nerdy. They get bullied together. His sister is like the popular girl, but she doesn't want to be associated with him. the pretty girl that he likes, she secretly likes him. Like a lot of that is giving like teen like comedy or drama beats. It's not giving horror beats, and it could give horror beats if it was supplemented by other stuff. Because like a lot of things that I just mentioned there could be good setup for our characters, but I wasn't invested to even kind of care.
It it was so boring, and I'm just like, I don't. The kills aren't inventive enough for. Like the kills weren't like what invented. Like I don't. I needed something to work, and
Nothing did.
it's.
And this was a rated R movie, mind you.
Wait, it was.
Yes.
Why? Was it for language? Was it
Um,
because that one character was gonna like sexually assault that girl if she didn't give him what he wanted? Was that why? Because that makes sense. Because there is nothing else in this movie that screams rated R.
there really isn't.
Was was it the blood? Like I'm confused.
Let's see. My Soul to Take MPAA rated R for strong bloody violence and pervasive languages, including sexual represents, mild sex and nudity, severe violence and gore. Where was the severe violence and gore? Was it just the sounds?
I
'Cause-
think it was implied. I that it did not deserve to be rated R. This could have been PG-13. What?
yes,
Okay.
sir. Yeah.
Well, let's move on to some standout scenes, the good, the bad, the indifferent scenes and kills. Do you have any to share, Tuan?
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, that's like the whole kind of opening sequence. That was probably the best portion of the movie to me. Um, I did find it silly in that opening sequence, though. Movies love to ham it up when they have a character that's dealing with like multiple personalities or something like that. Like the way that
Mm-hmm.
actor was acting in those scenes when he was like talking to the Ripper, but like in his body, but because he's has multiple personalities. Um, it was really like hammed up, almost to get kind of like parody. Like I couldn't take it serious the way that he was acting in that the way that guy was acting in that scene. Um, Also in the opening, why did this man come back to life like 5 times?
Yeah, that was insane.
Like he was shot and then he was like, "Never mind, I'm shooting y'all. Never mind, I'm not dead still." Okay, we in the ambulance. I'm still not dead. Nah, I'm out. I'm like, uh, somebody kill him.
Yes. I I don't have any standout scenes or kill outside of that first um outside of the opening scene. I feel like the opening scene was set up perfectly and it had so much potential. Like it actually got me hyped because I was watching that scene and I was just thinking, why don't I like this movie? I was like, this is some good shit. Like, why don't I like this movie? And then the rest of the movie started, and I was like, oh, okay. This opening scene sets me up, and I was disappointed after that. And then the scene, the whole wood scene with the two kids who were killed in the woods. The guy who was
Yeah, the
like,
doc.
Did he threaten to sexually assault her? 'Cause that's the vibe.
He kind of.
Okay, I thought 'cause I was like, did he just? And then he was like, I'm about to chase after you. And then like I was like, oh, he's I don't know. And every scene with the sister cousin, like the bitch was annoying. She was pissing me off the entire time.
Oh, Fang.
Yes.
Yeah, she. That's why I say this movie was giving me like a 2000s like teen movie because like she fits that archetype, which I I get that's kind of what he was going for with some of these characters and fitting like those different
Mm.
like subsects or subgroups or archetypes, but it didn't it didn't land well.
It it's like, I don't know. And I'm gonna hold that until we get to the characters. It's just every scene that showed us that was supposed to make us believe that the main guy was the killer. I never fell for it not one time. I forgot who the killer was.
It
And
was Alex.
no, no. I meant like when I was rewatching the movie for the review, I forgot who the killer was.
Oh, okay.
So I just knew it wasn't him. But also the other scene, he was gonna blame all the murders on the black one. Like, I was like, wait. And he's like, you gonna blame all this on Jerome? That's the same shit I'm asking. What do you mean? You go oh,
And he was blind at that too. Like, so
girl
the blind black student killed everybody
is the one who did all the killing.
and set the
How the fuck
bodies
you
up
see
and did all this
how
other
the fuck
stuff.
you see the murder? Like he didn't think that part through. He didn't think that part through because what are you talking about right now? That's why Bug was like, "Are you serious? Like, this is what we doing?"
Yeah, I don't. The Ripper, he was on some other stuff there. um, yeah, it just. Also, how did Jerome get in his closet? Was that
Right?
was that explained? That was not explained, right?
It wasn't.
He just like jumped out of there like when Bug came in the room, right? Like he opened the closet.
Mhm.
I was like, okay.
I think we're supposed to assume he was just in there.
Hmm. It's like, yo, what the fuck? What's going on
Yeah,
here?
it's
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have anything else.
well, le- the hospital scene with them being born was interesting, but this movie it could have went supernatural. You know what? Let's move on to the character section. We have. I'm just gonna group them all together. So I'm gonna start with the sheriff. Um, I love me some Frank Grillo. You know, he one of my soap opera baddies, and I was happy to see him here. I forgot that he was in this movie, and I was like, "Oh my God, Frank Grillo!" He's in the But then I was just like, "Are you gonna do any police work? Because these children over here dying, and you ain't doing shit, sir. Like, what's happening right now? Like, you barely survived the Ripper, and now all these kids kill it, and you just there. Like, he wasn't given."
Yeah, I honestly, first I forgot that he was in this movie when I started watching it. I definitely forgot that he was in here. But yeah, he wasn't a good cop.
Yeah, it didn't fit him, and it was disjointed, and I was confused.
Yeah, Frank Grillo is definitely one of those actors that I feel like at this point, because of the work that he's kind of carved out for himself, which, I mean, obviously that wasn't the case back then in 2010, but I can't see him as this cop. Like, he got to be like ex-military or some shit. Like, I got to see,
Yeah.
I only see him as like in action or something like that now. Like, I don't see him as this like gruff cop or like cop that went through some traumatic shit. Like, he needs to be like ex-military, like hunting down like for people for revenge or something.
Yeah, this didn't fit him, and the script didn't even help him because I'm just like he not investigating these murders smart and that people just dying around like he just there. But let's move over to the Ripperton Seven. I like this concept. I like this the concept of these seven kids. Like it could have they could have did so many stories with this. It could have been supernatural. It could have been they had some shared linkage and they were just like I don't know. It's just they're just all written as generic late 2000s, early 2010s teens and but it was just they I have nothing to say actually. They were all just run of the mill. Like I don't like you turn on a early 2000s TV show and there you go. They're going to seven Ripperton Seven. Like they had no personality. Like even the weird shit the main character Bug was doing. I'm like I've seen people act weird like I it's just and like I love that actor. I loved him in the Pacifier movie with Vin Diesel. I loved him in Bates Motel. I love him in Fire Country. But like even he wasn't killing it in this. And I'm just like I don't know what's happening right now. Please fix it.
Yeah, I too like the concept of like, the Riverton Seven, that whole thing, and like you mentioned, there could have been some, different ways that this was like handled or used. If
Hmm.
I was to, hmm, if I was to like redo something with them, for if I was Wes Craven, like let's say at the time or something like that, I would have kind of used this movie as a what's the word I'm looking for? Not pseudo. Hmm. I would have made this story into something Freddy Krueger-esque, but not name it a Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, it would have been. I feel like it could have been like a Freddy Krueger type story. Um, I'm trying to think of a movie to compare it to that kind of did something like that. Um,
Like no, I definitely get what you're saying. And that's what I was saying. Like it could have been like more supernatural with it. Like they had the perfect setup for it. It's just they went a completely different way, and I don't get it.
yeah, and the thing is like we mentioned earlier is not neither of these characters have anything that hold weight, nor are they like their characterizations aren't even like their base characterizations aren't even interesting or like turn upon their head in any way. Like there have been movies like in the past that have had like these same type of things. Like for I mean, this is obviously a whole different type of movie, like given what was happening in the story. But Cabin in the Woods, for example,
Hmm.
like they turned all those like supposed stereotypes like upside down given in the story. And like this movie could have kind of did something like that with these characters. Like we could have been presented one thing, but you know, these they're you know either they're more than what these like stereotypes we're giving them are, or you know they're written differently to come out a different way. But everybody's like so just into their like group or like a stereotype they're given in the movie. Like Fang is just evil Fang. Like why are you giving your brother this damn rocking horse from pulling off on his birthday? Why are you doing that? Like just being nasty for no reason. Or the jock saying that he's gonna beat the kid up unless like the pretty like popular girl gives him a blowjob. Like what are we doing here? Like none of this is doing anything for me in this story. It's actually making me hate a lot of these characters. Like the only character that I only characters that I didn't dislike because I barely saw them or died off early was Jay Chan because he literally died off right after the opening scene, and fucking
Yeah,
Jerome because he was just there being blind.
poor Jerome.
And like they even had like the you know the super religious girl like just being like literally the super religious girl, what was her character, just being super religious the entire time.
Everyone had one characteristic, and that's what they were written around. And I hate when movies do that. It's not something that I want to see.
Unless it's like subverted in some way, like, but it wasn't, which giving Wes Craven, I'm surprised about. I was surprised about that rewatching this because
Yeah,
he's
it's
really good
it's
for it.
it's
He's
not one of
really
his
good for
best.
that. He's really good for that, and it almost like led me to like I like think I'm like, if this was a satire, what would this be a satire of though?
But also, I think those kids, like, something should have happened to them, like, when they turn, like, something should have happened to them simultaneously, and now they all just being tortured and, like, killed off one by one, and some supernatural type shit. Like you said, don't give us Freddy Krueger, but give us something Freddy Krueger-esque, and then you fix this whole plot. You fix the whole movie, and like for some reason they just didn't do it. For some reason it fell apart, and I don't get it. And I don't even think satire. It would have to be satire. It would have to be like satire, doing satire of the Nightmare on Elm Street. Like that's the only like connection I could see.
Yeah, but even that, you know, it don't even hold water
Yeah,
either. Because like I was thinking, like
it don't.
yeah, I was like, after watching, like, you know, because I looked into it a bit. Like, I was just, you know, watching some supplemental content on the movie from like different YouTubers and stuff that are covered in the past. After I watched it, just to, you know, see what other people are saying, reading some reviews, and I was like, I saw like in one video he mentioned like was like if he had thought this was like you know supposed to be you know satire for anything, since we know like you know Wes Craven loves to do like a whole meta satire thing, especially like with Scream. But even he was like came to the conclusion like not really, like I don't just see it here, and I don't either. um which again begs the question, like, what are we doing here with the story?
They didn't know.
We don't either.
Well, let's move over to the Ripper himself. Itself. Oh, was it? Okay, this is the part that was confusing to me. Was it actually some evil, like, demonic entity that possessed these people? Was that what that was? Or
Hmm.
was it just like, or was it just like the original killer had some type of mental illness? He had split personality, and one of his split personalities was a serial killer. Because that that's been documented to happen. And then that like the kid was just fucked up because of the Ripperton Seven and his abusive stepdad, I'm guessing, that he just had a mental breakdown and just thought he was the Ripper as like a coping mechanism. Or was it actually some like supernatural shit happening? I'm not sure.
I feel like it's a mix of both.
And that's stupid because that's what I was afraid of. They let you just they did enough of both to keep you guessing, but that didn't actually help the movie. It hurt it
Yeah,
because now I'm overthinking shit.
yeah, I definitely
And
think
get
it
rid of the
was both.
voice.
You say get rid of the voice.
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely think it was both though, just due to um at the beginning I definitely feel like the father had like some type of mental thing going, if it was like split personality or I think what they mentioned DID, dissociative identity disorder, I think like that or something, something like that in that realm. But once we got to like the end point and um Bug is basically able to like see them and like the spirits of the others are like telling him that it's like Alex or whatever, like near the end. Like we definitely crossed into like the supernatural area of it all, and then
Hmm.
Alex actually has the spirit of the Ripper like inside of him, and then once um Bug kills him, he's free from like the Ripper at that point, and then it's back to Alex. So yeah, it definitely has to be both. But in that sense, it doesn't make sense because
Yeah.
if it is true that's just given like if the father at the beginning um what like wasn't experiencing anything supernatural. How do we get to supernatural? We don't know what happened to him in that time span because we escaped from the fucking ambulance.
Hmm.
So it's like, what was the point? And once again, this is why I feel like this movie wasted my time.
Yeah, I don't even know. I It was lackluster, and the voice was the only main characterization we had, and it was awful. I would have just wanted to keep the original guy. It could have been a mystery if he was alive or not.
High key though, now that I'm even like thinking, even though this was one of the better parts of the movie, if we just take the fucking intro scene out and we just start from and like we don't we eliminate the whole thing about the what's the word? We eliminate the whole thing about like Bug and Fang's parent, like dad being the Ripper, that whole thing,
Hmm.
and just like have them as just a standard family. Like their dynamics are still the same. Like she like still same type of characters, and just have the Ripper as just a town thing, like a town.
And they could still be, yeah, and they could still be the Ripperton Seven, and it could still be
Exactly.
a legend or whatever. But now it's more mysterious because we don't have a direct connection to it. And they could probably still keep the connection. That could be a big twist at the end, but we don't need to see that at the beginning because that opening scene
Beginning,
is
yeah, the beginning
so
takes away from what we get at the end because of
it's
how it's presented.
it's a different it's a different movie.
Yeah. Like if they said at the end that his like if that whole reveal was still the same, like with Fang like giving him the gift or something like that, um, and then we get that reveal, that would have hit more without the opening, and also it a lot of the other stuff wouldn't really need to be explained. It could just surmise it as supernatural.
Yep. but they didn't want to do that. So let's move on to the behind the scenes info and facts. On.
So, My Soul to Take had a budget of $25 million, and it brought in a box office of $21.5 million. This was Wes Craven's first original screenplay since 1994's New Nightmare. He wanted to return to psychological horror and explore themes of identity and inherited evil. The movie's release was delayed multiple times from its original 2009 release window, which created confusion and hurt marketing momentum. It eventually released October 2010. Despite negative reviews, Craven said he was proud of the film. When you do a film like My Soul to Take and people think it sucks, that hurts. We put a lot of work into it and it's a good film, but you go on. Craven reportedly shot more character development and psychological elements, but they were trimmed to emphasize the horror. Some fans believe this contributed to the uneven tone and poor reviews. And that possibly could be true as to what happened here, because when I was reading and just watching the videos like on it, it definitely was showing a lot of like the trouble development, and they had like a lot of bad test screenings, so they had to go back to the board and either do reshoots or chop it up differently. So it definitely was a lot going on behind the scenes with this one for sure. And one of those decisions as well behind the scenes was them deciding to put this movie in 3D for no reason, because what did this movie have for it to be in 3D? We know it was like that 3D craze in like 2009, 2010s, because of Avatar. And also My Bloody Valentine 3D had came out around the time, so they were like, oh, let's put this in 3D. But it worked for that movie because it had kills that could utilize a 3D effect. Now, I'm not saying it was good, but it could utilize it. But this movie didn't even have that, so we're just watching people in 3D. We're not even experiencing anything. Moving on, though, the critics' reactions. This movie currently sits at a 11% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, enough of that. What about us? Do we cash or pass My Soul to Take? For me, it's a pass. This movie was boring. It I was gonna say it was unoriginal, but it's original, but it didn't. I don't think it trusted itself to tell the story that they wanted to tell. They didn't trust enough in the concept that they had because they could have just. It just needed just a little bit more tweaking, a little bit like another polish, and it could have been good, but they fell short. So it's a pass. Torn.
Yeah, I will also be passing on My Soul to Take. This is one of those movies that, like I mentioned earlier, I remember seeing when I was younger, and I didn't like then, and I still am not a fan of it now. I still have love for Wes Craven as a director and everything, but I just feel as though he could have teamed up and let someone else handle the screenplay or writing for this one. It just didn't really sit well doing the whole thing himself, it seems. I wish, that something else could have been done with this, or it could have been done differently. Maybe, as mentioned in the behind the scenes, some of those like left on the chopping block items could have brought us a different product here. But with what we're given, it's not really just like a sustainable. It wasn't really a sustainable thing, and yeah, I don't think it holds up. And personally, as I mentioned earlier, I feel like it kind of wasted my time.
Well, there you have it. There's our review on My Soul to Take. Join us next week as we watch Superior, the original one from 1977. I've seen this one. I haven't seen the remake, so I am excited to enjoy these movies. But that's for next week. Until then, good night.
If you like this episode, please be sure to check out some from the Haddonfield Horror Cemetery, where we've covered big franchises such as Friday the 13th, Halloween, and Saw, or one-off reviews like The Blackening or Hereditary. You can follow Haddonfield Horrors on Instagram and TikTok, where the host posts updates and mini reviews. Full episodes are available on several podcasting platforms, including Spotify, as well as YouTube. If you're listening to us on YouTube, please be sure to like and subscribe. The Haddonfield Horrors podcast is produced by Mark Smart, Tawan Griffin, and Elian Cordova, themed by Lethal Injection, and edited by Mark Smart.
The Haddonfield Horror Podcast is a Letter to Media production.
Should we do an intro?